Right, so I've got to a stage now where I've changed my seat. I have a cafe racer style seat on there. And I need somewhere to put my number plate. Now, unfortunately, in the UK, our number plates are ridiculously big. So I think that's 9 inches by 7. So one of the options I originally looked at was just one of these side mounted plates. Very cheap, but that still would have to be mounted sort of that way, and then it kind of sits on the bike like that, but that sticks out way too far. Ideally we'd have smaller number plates. I know in the US they're a bit smaller, but ours are stupidly large. So, you know, I'm thinking, where can I put this? I'm looking at mounts and things, and then I see some that are kind of mounted down here. I mean, it's still not ideal. I'd rather get rid of that, not have it at all, but law says I have to have one, and it needs to be illuminated. It needs to be at the back of the bike. So as I said, I looked at options on the old interweb. There's a lot of brackets that kind of come around here. There's some sort of single arm ones, double arms that mount onto the swinging arm and allow that number plate to sit down here out the way somewhere. Again, it's not ideal. I'd rather not have one, but you have to. So that's going to be my option. Look at these. These are quite expensive online. I think the cheapest one I found was at 60 quid UK, which is probably about $100 US, and they all go up to sort of like $300. It's just a ridiculous amount of money. So thought, got a bit of old copper plumbing pipe, I'll have a go at doing one myself. Now, so the other thing is, I don't have a welder. I did a long time ago, so I had to kind of look at this sort of without welding. So I did do a mock-up. I'll show you that in a minute, and then I'm going to see if that works. If that looks okay, I'm going to try and make a bit more of a refined one. So, as mentioned, our stupidly large number plate, we're going to have a go at just making a bracket so we can sit that out of the way at the back of the bike. It doesn't kind of spoil the lines with a side mount, so it sort of hangs out over a foot. Hopefully tuck it round there somewhere. So let's see how we get on. So this is the mock-up I've made. Bend that quickly. Got a length of pipe, I've cut it in two. I can do the next one with a bit more finesse. But as it stands, that's going to look like that. That nasty, massive, stupid number plate. So it's pretty solid. Once that's screwed down, I think that's going to work. As I say, no welding, just bending, drilling. So I'm lucky where I've got a couple of tabs that I previously welded on there 10 years ago. But depending on your bike, you may or may not have something you can just use to fix it on. I no longer have a welder, so it's not an option for me. So what we're going to do, this is just a bit of 15mm copper hollow pipe. If you try and bending it as I've done here, you can see that it's just going to crease. Doesn't look particularly nice. So I've got a bending spring. I haven't actually ever used one of these before, but apparently should be able to slip that down the pipe end with a bit of string attached to it, and then bend that into the position. or the shape that I want. So what I did to start with is just kind of roughly work out how long a piece of pipe I'm going to need, and then I add a bit extra on there, so because there's obviously going to be a bit of a bend in that. So we got about, what's that, 14 inches there. I'll do the same the other one. 14, pretty much the same that side, and then obviously we want a bit of a length there, so 14, 14, 28, so 9 inches there, and we'll say 37. So I've actually got a length of pipe there anyway, so just make sure that is bigger than 37 inches. Yes, that's 43, that's more than enough. So what I'm going to do is mark the middle of that, put my spring in and attempt to bend it. So what I've done is I've marked my middle on my piece of pipe. It's about where that pen is. And then what I'm going to do, I've tied a bit of string to the spring. I'm just going to mark on my string there, just to let me know that when the string's down to that mark, I know the spring's sitting central, so when I bend it, it should be able to bend, and then it's not going to end up creasing if you were doing it without the spring. So we just put a bit of a mark on there. Springs in up to the mark on the string. Now bend. String in on my mark. Keep a bit of tension on that and just hold it at that angle. And then what we'll do, see if we can bend it. That so far. A little bit of time, still on my mark, spring still in the middle. So that's the bend I've got now. Actually, look, that's a bit too tight on the tyre. I really want that a bit more sort of squared off around these areas, so I'll have a little play with that. See where. Right, I had a bit more of a bend and I've kind of squared that off a bit. What I have noticed is I've got a bit of a kink there, but I think that will do. What I'll then do is offer it up to the tyre, work out how much distance I want between the tyre and this, and then mark on here where I'm going to screw holes and connect it to the frame. Right, I think I've done all I can now. It's just a case of getting the spring out so I can cut these ends off. So right, so I'll cut these a bit shorter now so the frame doesn't bang, but I think that is going to kind of be okay. So I'm going to put a pen through, hole there, just mark where I want my bolt hole. I'll get that in properly before I mark that one up. Right, what I've done now is I marked a hole just using a pen, and then I got a hammer and nail, just indented that, so nice and easy to drill. And then I'll put the end in a vise, crush that down, just flatten that, so when I go to mount it on there, it's nice and flush, like so. What I'll do is I'll fix this side first, and then I'll work out on the other side where the hole needs to go, I can sort of adjust it a little bit, bend it around. So drilled my hole, got a bolt through there, and then I need to work out where that's going to sit on that side, mark that, and do the same thing. So done the same now with both sides. We've both got drilled holes, mark that out. There we go. I'm going to mount that and I'll work out where the number plate goes. See how it looks. And there. You have it. What I'll do is I'll tidy up these tabs. Cut that off there, similar thing on the other side. And what I need to do is just do a couple of screw holes there and the number plate on the back. There we go, one finished, sprayed up, and number plate mount. And there we go. Sprayed up version. On bike. That kind of does the trick. Number plate will go on there. As I say, I'll do some sort of bracket for light. What I possibly should have done as well before I sprayed it is actually maybe drill some holes in here and here so the wiring could go through that for the brake light. But I can always do that at a later date, touch it up, but as it stands, job done for not a lot of money.